Hey guys, it's Mr. Beatty. Exercising my math skills once again. Today we're going to continue our discussion about the GCF. And the GCF means what? Everybody all together. Greatest common factor. Very good. So, the greatest common factor when two people have something in common, well, I gave it away. You have to have two of something, at least. Two or more. So, we have to have two or more numbers to have a greatest common factor. So, today we're going to talk about a little bit different numbers, such as 18 and 30. Now, these numbers are both even numbers, and you can tell by the digit in the ones place. 8 and 0 are both even. Thus, these numbers are both even. So, we know that they both have a 2 in common. But, don't get fooled. So we're going to make our list. 18 and 30. So, first of all, every number in the world, as I said yesterday, has a factor of 1. Now, 1 times what equals 18? 1 times the number equals the number. That's true for any number. So 1 times 18 equals 18. Now what times 30 equals 30? 1 times 30. Very good. And I put them way out here in this much space because I don't know how many factors they're going to have. And factors, it's just the mathematical term for the two numbers that multiply together to equal our end product, which is 18 or 30. So we know 2 is a factor of 18 and of 30 for that matter. So 2 times what equals 18? Right, 2 times 9. And if you looked up at my multiplication chart, that's what it's there for. But try to memorize your multiplication tables. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, that's not all. So, can 3 go into 18? Yes, it can. 3 times what equals 18? 3 times 6, right. And in a later video, I'll show you a trick for that. But right now, let's just go with what we know. Will 4 go into 18? No. Will 5 go into 18? No. 6, we have 6. Will 7? No. And will 8? No. So we're done. Alright. So we know 2. Will 3 go into 30? Yes, it will. 3 times what equals 30? 3 times 10 equals 30. I got ahead of myself a little bit because we still have 2. 2 times what equals 30? 2 times 15 equals 30. Alright, so we have a 3 in common. So you can circle your 3 or not circle your 3. Doesn't hurt my feelings either way. But if you want to remember, then 3 is your greatest common factor. So the way that that's useful, if we have a fraction 18 over 30, we can divide the bottom and the top by 3. and we get 6 over 10. Uh-oh, we got a problem. There was another factor that they have in common. And the reason I know that is because 6 and 10 can be divided by something. Well, they're both even. So what can two even numbers be divided by? Right, they can always be divided by 2. So, let's take a step back and think about this for a second. We got 2, we got 3. Now, can 30 be divided by 4? No. Can 30 be divided by 5? Yes. And the reason we know that is because it ends in a 0. If it ends in a 0 or a 5, it can be divided by 5. We'll talk about that later. So, 5 times what equals 30? 5 times 6 equals 30. And see, here we go. Our greatest common factor is 6. So if we divide 18 by 6 and we divide 30 by 6, we're going to get the simplest answer, which is 3 over 5. And that's how you check your own work. That's how you know if you need to rework the problem. 3 is a common factor, but is it the greatest common factor? No. The greatest common factor is 6 because it's the biggest number that they both have in common. All right, so let's do one more together, and then I'll let you do one on your own. And you know I always drop things, so I'm sorry. Okay, so let's do 15 and 40. Numbers are getting a little bigger here. So there's a couple ways we could do this, but we're going to do the traditional list method. So we're going to put 15 on top, and we're going to put 40 on the bottom. So now we're going to list all the factors of 15. So every number in the world has 1 as a factor. So 1 times what equals 15? Right, 15. 1 times 15 equals 15. And remember to leave a little space because you don't know how many factors that the number will have. So will 2 go into 15? No. Will 3 go into 15? Yes. And 3 times what is 15? 3 times 5. Alright. Will 4? No. Will 6? No. 7, 8, 9? No. So we're done. We're done with 15. Now, 40 has a factor of 1. We know 40 also, 1 times 40 is 40. So 40 also has a factor of 40. Now, will 2 go into 40? Yes, because it's even. So 2 times what equals 40? 2 times 20. Will 3 go into 40? No. Will 4 go into 40? Yes. And 4 times 10 equals 40. Will 5 go into 40? Yes, because it ends in 0. So 5 times 8 is 40. Now, we can see our greatest common factor is 5. Now, The other way that we can do that I was talking about, but you really need to know your divisibility rules, is by saying, well, this number ends in 0, so we know that every number that ends in 0 can be divided by 10. But can they both be divided by 10? And the answer there is no, because this number ends in a 5. But as I just said, any number that ends in a 0 or a 5 can be divided by 5. So it would be a pretty safe bet to me to say that both of these numbers can be divided by 5. So, as a fraction, we've got 15 over 40. We're going to divide by 5, our greatest common factor. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. So in its simplest form, 15 over 40 equals 3 over 8. Got rid of my GCF, I didn't need to. All right, so now you do one. 30 and 50. Now these numbers are a little bit bigger, but remember your divisibility rules. It'll help you greatly. All right, so put that in your notebook. We'll talk about it later. The GCF of 30 and 50. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Keep practicing, keep finding your GCFs, and keep working hard on your freckle. And I'll see you next time.